they're pretty sophisticated, to be honest with you guys. They're pretty sophisticated in how they're tracking like the margins they're able to get and the values of cards and like the liquidity of the specific cards that they're looking for, the grades they're looking for. They're really honing in on a specific thing, and they need so much of it to meet the demand of the business that they have to buy it from everywhere, eBay, everything.
So when you say like sophisticated, what do you mean by that? Like how are they sophisticated?
Like they're not just buying Prism Luca 2018 PSA 10s at 80%. Like they are buying almost anything and everything. And they're using tools like Card Ladder to track sales of specific cards daily and keeping up with like where the cards are moving. And then they'll buy it at a specific percentage of those. And they're doing it in bulk. And they're able to do this pretty quickly. Like a new auction will come up. They're able to like know that this is a card that falls within their brackets. And then they're, using Card Ladder, figuring out the price and executing.
Okay. So that's what you were implying when you wanted to talk about the impact of repacks on the card market, or is there more?
Yeah, I kind of am curious to know, maybe we could just talk about it. Like, I'm curious to know how much of that is holding up the prices of these individual cards.
The repack buyers, like the amount of singles they're buying. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some. Like, my thought, and I don't know how you quantify this. My thought has always been it definitely holds up the secondary stuff. Like, I don't need anybody buying Chipper Jones autos for a repack. Like, that's a popular card in a repack, right? If you're doing a baseball only repack, I'm just trying to think, like a Chipper Jones, a Frank Thomas. Those are like all-time greats that have a Griffey. Those cards are going to sell regardless. My thought, though, has always been anything that's not graded a gem, you're going to get way more and you're going to pay way more for in a repack because, like, realistically, I don't have anything non-gem except for vintage in my PC. I want a 9.5, a BGS 9.5, an SGC 10, a PSA 10. So I do think it props up that market some. And then, like, the secondary guys. Like, I'm trying to think like a secondary baseball star. Freddie Freeman. Unbelievable on the field. He's an on-field talent through the roof. But in the hobby, he is not an A-list star in the hobby. I think that market is probably inflated by that type of stuff more so than a star because he needs it. Like, who else is out there really chasing those things? I do think there's some effect on guys like that.
Yeah, and they are buying these at higher percentages than all the flippers and dealers. Like they're buying at like 90% in a lot of cases because
of time, right? That's the only thing I ever hear. Because my thought would be if I'm buying more, if I'm normally paying 80, if I'm going to go to a show and drop 100,000 cash, I'm paying 70. The guys I talk to, and some of them are pretty big, are like, it's not about the mark. We'd rather pay 10% more and save an hour in negotiations. We'll just take everything on the table. What's the number?
Yeah, but on the other end, it's literally just gambling. So they don't even care. They don't even care the popularity of the card or like the trajectory of it. They're just doing like a dollars and cents margin-based gamble. So it's literally just a volume liquidity game for them. They just need more and more of it. So they're getting less and less picky about player, to your point. They're getting less picky about the players, the sets. And I feel like it's maintaining a certain floor of price on cards that like otherwise collectors, dealers, flippers just would never care about.
That's probably accurate. Yeah, like even at shows, like if I go into a show and 30% of the inventory is already gone, you're going to feel that effect. And there's like a little bit more of an urgency of like, hey, if I'm going to buy something, I have to buy it now. Otherwise, by the end of the weekend, it's gone. Like, I do think it probably affects that. Like, it keeps the floor somewhat stable.